What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're getting into this wild, humongous Rancor from Star Wars Return of the Jedi. This is a Sideshow Collectibles piece. There's no art box for this piece, so that's why we're starting off with the cardboard shippers and right into the 2 blocks of foam. This came in 2 huge boxes. So here is the artwork on the bottom of the base. This is number 91 of 600. The base is super light. Everything about the statue is actually very lightweight, which I'm relieved because the last thing I need is another huge, heavy statue. So it is all hollow except the legs here. They have some fill in, so there's a little weight to that to kind of keep it mounted and secure in that base. I'm taking off a nut and washer because that's what actually holds the torso onto the legs, and there's a huge pin that goes into the base in the right foot. So as you can see, I'm lowering the torso down onto that bolt, and there is a huge opening in the back of the Rancor, and that's where I'm slipping in that washer and hand tightening the nut down. You don't need to use any tools or anything like that. Just the strength of your hand is actually just perfect to make it stay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this other arm here. You can tell it's really big and just humongous. So I'm popping off this nut here, the washer is gonna come off, and we're gonna go ahead and slip it into the hole. So as you can see, my arm is going in the back of his torso again, and yeah, we're just going to get the washer and the nut on there, hand tighten it, and that's what holds it all together. Yep, there's the big opening, and you can see how hollow it is, which keeps the weight down a lot, but that does not mean they missed out on any kind of detail at all. This thing is very detailed and just absolutely out of control, and it does not weigh 1,000,000 pounds. So we're going to get the right arm on there with the broken shackle on the wrist. Just getting that last bolt on there to secure that arm. Now you think that arm is going to touch the base, but in actuality it doesn't. It's maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 of an inch away from the base. So it doesn't actually touch, but it is very close. There's a little bit of wobble in the Rancor to the base, but it's really not that big of a deal. I was just noticing that it did actually do that. So the back plate, there's a pin at the top that goes into a hole, and there's a very strong magnet that just kind of pulls it all together and locks it in. I'm a huge fan of the plates and all the scales running down its back, his earring, all the details that I've come to love from. This is definitely one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars series. So here's some 360 shots. You can just see all the colors, and for it being a big brown potato monster, they really did a great job of giving a lots of range in the colors going on the Rancor himself. The mouth is really great with just this kind of dark rose flesh red, and his hands, it's really cool to actually get up close and see the anatomy of one of my favorite characters. So here's the base. As you can tell, it just really replicates the bottom of Jabba's palace and the Rancor's lair. There's a lot of really cool little Easter eggs, like the Gamorrean guard's skull crushed there, and then the broken bone by his right foot, kind of implying the bone that Luke Skywalker puts in his mouth. Here's just a lot of the upper body, so you can see a lot of the texture and that big back plate with all those radical scales. I love his meaty belly and all his kind of fat and muscle just hanging over. Very realistic. The artwork on the bottom of the base is really great. I'm into that. And here's a close-up of that skull and the broken jaw. It's a really great piece. The paint on the base is lacking a little bit. It's really hard not to want to get in there and spruce it up. Here's the gigantic elephant feet, and they actually did a great job of detailing the bottom too, which you don't even see when the statue's together. And there's that ridiculously large pin that holds it together. There's that bone that I mentioned before. I just love it. It kind of throws back to when Luke is trying to escape. And this rock is actually on the back of the base, and it looks really good. They did all this amazing weathering, but the rocks on the front don't match it. It's weird. This back one has all these bells and whistles and weathering and looks fantastic, but yeah, the other rocks are like not like that, and I'm not quite sure why they did that. So here we're just showing a lot of the texture, that big meaty belly hanging over. Now he has these really cool scars and wounds all over him, and I'm fighting every urge in me to not go in there and like bruise them and add some blood and add some weathering, like he's, you know, some of these wounds are fresh and new. Here's the inside of the mouth. I was saying I love the texture of the tongue. The teeth are just absolutely incredible. Almost kind of translucent-y, but not quite. And then the gunmetal of the shackle. This thing is texture crazy and very much my taste. Just a big, solid character that demands your attention, and there's not too much going on, and it's not a huge diorama with all these delicate parts, and it's a very sound structure. I love that it's hollow. I love that it doesn't weigh 1,000,000 pounds. Those are all my favorite things about it. Again, this back plate is just amazing. You don't really get to see that. So this is inside of the body where the bolts go on. That's where the arm attaches there, and where you just kind of thread the bolts with your hands. And that's the hole you get to work with on the back. Plenty of room. This is an art print that comes with it. Looks absolutely amazing. And then on the back of it is some instructions that just give you a guide of what to expect when putting this thing together. And of course, I got to show off my Rancor tattoo on my arm that I've had forever, and I love it. Be sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can keep up with all the new things coming, because we have plenty of statues on the way. This has been fun. Can't wait to catch you guys next time.